You ever notice how rival coffee shops or gas stations always seem to pop up right on the same corner? Well, it turns out that's not a coincidence. There's a hidden science behind these kinds of decisions, and today we're going to break it down. We are talking about game theory. So let's just jump right in with a puzzle you see pretty much every day. Is it just random that competitors set up shop right next to each other? Or is there, a deeper logic at play here? Well, the answer is it's not a coincidence at all. It's a strategic calculation. It's one of those situations where your best move doesn't just depend on what you do, but on what everybody else does too. And that, my friends, is exactly what game theory is all about. It's the formal study of this kind of strategic thinking. We're talking about brilliant minds like John von Neumann and John Nash, who basically gave us the mathematical tools to analyze how we compete and cooperate. All right, so how does this actually work? Well, you can break down any strategic situation, any game, into three essential parts. And trust me, once you get these three, you'll start seeing these games everywhere. First up, you've got to have players. These are just the decision makers. It could be as simple as you and a friend trying to pick a place for dinner, or as complex as two giant companies setting their prices, or even countries negotiating a treaty. Second, every player has a set of possible moves they can make. In game theory, we call these strategies. So for a company, the strategies might be lower our prices or keep our prices the same. Pretty straightforward. And finally, once everyone makes their move, there's an outcome. That's the payoff. It's what each player gets at the end of the day. Could be money, could be market share, or as we'll see, it could even be years in prison. Now, this brings up a really important point. Not all games are created equal. You've got zero-sum games, like chess, where for me to win, you have to lose. My win is your loss. But most of real life is actually non-zero-sum. It's possible for us both to win, or for that matter, for us both to lose. Okay, to really see how all these pieces fit together, we have to talk about the single most famous example in all of game theory. I'm talking about the prisoner's dilemma. So here's the classic setup. Police arrest two partners in crime. The thing is, they don't have enough evidence for a major conviction, unless one of them snitches. So they put them in separate interrogation rooms. No communication. And then they offer each one the exact same deal. We can lay out all the possibilities here in what's called a payoff matrix. So, look, if both prisoners stay silent, if they cooperate with each other, they both get a light sentence, just 1 year. But if you betray your partner while he stays silent, you walk free and he gets slapped with 10 years. And what if you both betray each other? Well, then you both get 2 years. So put yourself in prisoner A's shoes for a second. You're thinking, okay, what if my partner keeps his mouth shut? Well, my best move is to betray him because then I go free. But then you think, okay, wait, what if he betrays me? Well, then my best move is still to betray him because then I only get 2 years instead of 10. And here is the absolutely mind-bending part. Both prisoners, by following their own perfectly rational self-interest, will choose to betray each other. They each end up with a 2-year sentence, which is clearly a worse outcome for both of them than the 1 year they would have gotten if they had just managed to cooperate. This result, where they both betray, is incredibly stable. Why? Because once they're in that box, neither prisoner can improve their own situation by changing their mind all by themselves. That stable point, where no one has an incentive to change their move, is what we call a Nash equilibrium. And hey, remember our coffee shops? That's the answer. It's a Nash equilibrium. If one moves away, the other gets all the business, so they're both better off staying put right next to each other. Now, this whole prisoner's dilemma logic, it might seem like a neat little puzzle for criminals, but this kind of thinking is absolutely everywhere. It shapes our world in ways we don't even realize. I mean, this is a seriously powerful tool. It's used across a huge range of fields. In economics, it helps explain why companies sometimes get locked into price wars that hurt everybody. In politics, it shows the terrifying logic behind something like an arms race. For example, think about the game of chicken. You've got two drivers speeding right at each other. The worst possible outcome for everyone is that nobody swerves. The best outcome for you is that the other guy swerves, making you look tough. This is a perfect, if terrifying model for high-stakes political standoffs, where countries push each other right to the brink, each hoping the other will be the chicken and back down first. Or how about the stag hunt? Picture this. Two hunters can work together to take down a massive stag, a huge reward that feeds both their families.
But at any moment, either hunter could give up and go catch a small hare for himself, which is a guaranteed meal. The problem is, if he does that, the stag gets away and his partner gets nothing. This models that constant tension between playing it safe for a small, guaranteed win and trusting someone else for a much, much bigger payoff.
Okay, so after all this theory, what's the big takeaway here? How can you actually use these ideas to navigate the strategic games you play every single day, whether it's at work or just in your personal life? First, we've got to have a quick reality check. These models often assume that we're all perfectly rational robots who only care about getting the biggest payoff. But we all know that real people are driven by things like emotion and trust and fairness. That's a huge factor that the basic models don't always account for. So, keeping that human element in mind, here are 3 quick tips. 1, think ahead. Don't just focus on your next move. Try to anticipate how the other players are going to react to it. 2, really understand the payoffs. What does the other person actually want? It might not be what you think. And 3, and this is the big one, see if you can change the game. Can you build trust to avoid a prisoner's dilemma? Can you change the rules or the payoffs to make cooperation the best strategy? See, at the end of the day, game theory isn't a crystal ball that tells you exactly what to do. It's more like a powerful lens. It's a framework that helps you analyze your options, understand what drives other people, and just see the whole board a lot more clearly. So that leaves us with one final thought. Now that you know the rules, what's your next move?